What's up, everyone? It's Rob from Buttendz here. I'm really excited to share with you this two-part Ask Me Anything episode. The first part was shot in Buffalo, New York last week, but I had a couple really good questions come in after I was done filming, so I definitely wanted to include those. So right now I'm down in Phoenix, Arizona on the way to California for opening week in the NHL. We're going to go check out the Anaheim Ducks game this week in Anaheim, obviously, and also head up to San Jose for the Sharks game. And hopefully we'll check out the vlog on the way up there for that. But right now, I have a really interesting two-part Ask Me Anything episode to share with you. Got some great questions from you guys over on Snapchat, and really got into some really cool topics to discuss. So thanks a lot for tuning into the channel. And definitely let me know what you think of this Ask Me Anything episode. If you like what you see, let me know in the comment section. If you hate it, also let me know in the comment section. That'd be sweet. So thanks a lot. There's a giveaway buried in the video, so you got to watch the video to enter the giveaway. So check it out, let me know what you think, and stay tuned for some more. Hey, what's up, everyone? It's Rob here. Earlier today, I put it out on Snapchat that I was going to be doing an Ask Me Anything for the channel. So here I am. It's about 9:30 tonight. I'm at a friend's apartment, and it's nice and quiet here. I got a nice little setup for an Ask Me Anything. So I'm going to go through the DMs on Snap, and hopefully there's a bunch of good questions in there, and I'm going to basically answer everyone that comes in the best way that I can. I'm even going to try to include a giveaway also, so make sure you stay tuned for the whole video because there's going to be a hidden giveaway at some point in here. So let's get right into it. Let me see if I can get a good question right off the hop, and we'll get rolling. So here we go. Let's see. Hope I have some questions, guys. I feel like sometimes in my games I am out of the play and I'm not contributing as much as I want to change that. I mean, if you feel like you're not contributing enough to the play and you're not in the game as much, talk to your line mates, find out what they're thinking, see where they think you can improve, and see what their opinion is of your game. Also, obviously, talk to your coach, see what he thinks. But chances are, if your coach has got you out there in a certain situation, he likes where you are. But you can always be doing the right thing. So, worst case scenario, if you're on the ice, just play good defensively. If you feel like you're not having a good offensive game, for me, I would always try to take care of my own end first. So, maybe if you don't feel like you're keeping up with the play in the offensive zone, like when the puck's down in your end, there's definitely something that you can do defensively. So I'm not sure what position you play or whatever, but let's just say you're a winger. You need to make sure that your D is taken care of and covered, all right? So that's your guy. And that's pretty much it. So, even if you think that you're not contributing to the play as much, there's always something you can do defensively. You can always communicate with your coaching staff and definitely with your teammates and find out where you can improve. So that was Willie_173. Interesting question, buddy. Good job. Let's see here. Is there any new product coming out? So yeah, we're always definitely in production of just new things. Like we have some new grips. Actually, we're pretty much sold out of a lot of stuff right now. So we have some new stuff that's on its way that should be here in mid-October. As for new products and R&D, we're working on some new stuff, but we probably won't drop any new grips until next hockey season or 2018 at least. So Twirl 88 just came out this year, so it's still new for us, and we got some new things that we definitely want to work on. But for right now, we're focused on where we are and looking forward to moving into a new direction maybe for 2018. That was _TWO. T Perry 92. Are you going to release another grip anytime soon? So yeah, again, we're going to definitely try to innovate the grip and improve the product. So like what we did with Twirl, for example, the original Twirl, when we came out with it, it was a sweet grip, but we made improvements. We dropped Twirl 88. We've got Flux Fusion, the Century grip. We got a bunch of NHL players that are using them this year, so we're going to see how that goes. But we definitely got some exciting stuff that we're working on for next year, and I can't wait to show you guys. There's definitely some new cool feels that we're working on, new designs, and we definitely want to keep growing as a company. So obviously we're not just going to sit here and sit still. So we want to keep designing and keep growing. So definitely stay tuned. I appreciate you guys asking and looking out for new stuff. That's awesome. So anytime you want to know about more things, just hit me up. Let me know. Any companies that do good team orders, looking for gloves? Yeah, check out @Menaceware right here. He made Buttendz gloves for us, and that company's sweet. Their gloves are nasty, and I know they do custom gloves, so definitely check those guys out. That was El Bois. J_Snow40 said, do you have any tips for getting noticed by scouts? So obviously, there's a lot of different things that scouts look for, but if you're not really quite sure what to, present yourself or how to do it, the best thing to do is just work hard in practice and work hard in games. The scouts are going to notice it. For me, I always notice, without even knowing how good of a player is, I can know right away if a player's cheating on a drill, or, you can see little things from the stands too, like guys not skating hard off the ice. Or for example, one thing that I always look for is bad attitudes. It's so obvious. Like sometimes you'll see kids slamming their sticks, or showing up teammates, calling out teammates, that kind of stuff. You might not think is easy to see, but it's very simple to see from the stands. As an evaluator myself, you can always see when a guy's trying to cheat or trying to get away with something, or having a bad attitude. And for me, it's a game changer. If I see a guy with a bad attitude, I don't want to work with that player, and I'm pretty sure most scouts feel the same way. So it's really the only thing that you can control. You can't control the results of everything, but what you can control is your attitude every single day at the rink. And if you make it a good habit of having a good attitude, it's going to carry you forward. Because it is a habit. If you have a habit of slamming your stick on the ice, you're going to do it at the wrong time, and someone's going to see it, and it's going to cost you an opportunity. So get in the good habit of always staying positive, working your hardest, having a good attitude, and by doing that, you're going to be that kind of player for the rest of your career, and people are going to notice that, and it's going to definitely elevate you and bring you up. So great question, J_Snow40. That was sweet. So Flyers_93 said, what was your inspiration to start playing hockey and to start Buttendz? So my inspiration for starting hockey was basically my father. He came up to me when I was a little kid playing in the driveway, and he asked me if I wanted to play, and I was like, absolutely, I wanted to play. From what I remember, I was probably like 5 years old. And he signed me up into the local hockey organization, and I started playing then, and I never stopped playing. I was basically a 5-year-old kid who fell in love with the game at the first time. And started playing hockey in Buffalo, New York, and playing on travel teams, and my father and I would go on trips together and play hockey my whole career growing up. And then obviously I wanted to play in the NHL, I wanted to play in college hockey, and these are all dreams of mine. As far as when did Buttendz come involved in it, I was always a kid who was really interested in brands. I was really into Bauer Hockey and all the different stick companies, and as a kid I was really into that stuff. And I think it kind of carried through to when I became an older player, and I was at Merrimack College in 2006, and just having an awful time trying to find that perfect feel for the top of my stick. And I always felt like tape was gross, and it absorbed water and got moldy and got slimy and wrecked my gloves and was too dry and too sticky, and I couldn't really find a good feel with it. And I just looked around and saw other people having the same issue and thought that Buttendz would be an awesome idea. And it was like a light bulb moment. It literally was when I thought of Buttendz hockey grips in 2006, I thought, oh my God, this is amazing. And that was a long time ago. But that's pretty much how it got started, just out of pure annoyance of the current state of things and wanting to improve the product for myself. And then realizing that, wait a minute, if I think this way, maybe other people would think that way too. And then just having the belief that, my idea was a good idea, and just going after it and never quitting. Because it took a while. The concept for Buttendz was thought of in 2006, and we didn't come out with our first product until 2013. So it took 7 years to come out with an actual product that was usable. So it takes a while, but if you stick with it, it's just like anything. It's just like your hockey career. If you stick with it and you keep working hard, good things are going to happen, even if it doesn't happen overnight, because nothing ever good ever does. So just stay with it, Flyers93. Good question. So what is the best stick you've ever used? That's what Sean E. Poe said. What's the best stick you ever used? Of all time, I fell in love with the Louisville TPS Response rubber back in 2001. It was a shaft. It wasn't a full twig, and I had a Sherwood blades with my name on them that I got made. So I had Sherwood blades with a Louisville Response TPS rubber shaft, and I used to curve the blade a little bit with a blowtorch after I got it, and make this nice little heel curve with a little bit of loft. So that was my favorite. And then right now I'm using the Surgeon RX2, and it's pretty dope. I'm down to a 75 flex. I'm using Reed Boucher's twig, and it's got this massive curve, and it's pretty sweet. So nice one. So how do you get? What do we got here? Peter No Strant 42 said, how do you get a harder slap shot? Basically practicing. It's just like anything. You got to learn how to manipulate the sticks. So you got to learn how to like get the max flex on the stick and make good contact with the puck, and that's going to make the puck just zip off of your blade. But nothing happens without practice. So you can will and want to have a good slap shot, but if you don't go out there and work on it, it's never going to improve. So the best thing to do, stay in good shape, be athletic, and really practice as much as you can. There's no reason why you shouldn't take 20 shots a day. If you take 20 slap shots a day for a full season, by the end of the year, you're going to have an awesome shot. So all it really takes is repetition and practice. Good question. Jeff Roberts, no question, just said yo. All right, so next question I answer, I'm gonna do a giveaway. So who's gonna get it? Let's see. Jack _04253 on Snap. You just won the giveaway, and your question is, what is your warm-up routine for games? Wow, so that's another thing that sort of evolved over the years. I'll say my last year of pro hockey, my warm-ups were very important. I usually got to the game at around 5 o'clock for a 7 o'clock game, and I would get out of my suit, get into my warm-up gear, which is like shorts and a t-shirt, and some sneakers. I had a jump rope. I had a soccer ball. So I used to like to spend a little time on my sticks at that point. Get the blades ready, get the tape going, like get everything kind of dialed in. And then I would usually find my teammates who were playing the soccer game, playing two-touch, and I would get in there and loosen up, jump around, listen to some music. I had my headphones then, just like I do now. So I would listen to some tunes and get ready for that. And then once the two-touch game was over and I had a little bit of a lather going, a little sweat going, then I like to jump rope. So I had a little jump rope routine that I did. I would jump rope only for about 10 minutes or so, just to that really gets the heart rate going. And then from there, it was definitely a lot of stretching. But pretty much that's it. Just get the blood going, get the stretching going, and then get right into getting mentally focused for the game. So I like to have a nice little warm up, and then get into my stall and just start getting ready, listen to my music, get ready for warm ups in the game, and that was pretty much it. Nice question, man. You won the giveaway. I'll message you. All right, what do we got? What's your favorite hockey team? So my favorite hockey team growing up was the Boston Bruins, but now we got a couple guys on Montreal using our stuff, so I definitely got to go with the Montreal Canadiens. Thanks, Sam. What do we got? A couple more here. What Buttendz is your personal favorite? So personally for me, I prefer Flux because I like the knob on the end of my stick. I've always liked, even when I taped my sticks growing up, I always taped it with a knob on the end of it. So I think Flux is perfect because it gives you that feel, but then you also have the rubber grip that's got that response and that, that nasty feel that the grips give you. So for me, Flux, but definitely, I could definitely use Fusion and have Twirl 88 for sure. I mean, that grip is awesome, except for me, I really like the knob. So if you're not used to using the knob, definitely Twirl 88 will be good for you. So for me, it's Flux, and that was youre 49. Thanks, buddy. Thanks for the question. Tucker Hockey said, when did you first get into ice hockey and what inspired you to play? So I basically answered that already with my father. But yeah, it was my dad asking me if I wanted to play hockey when I was a little kid. And I don't know why I wanted to, but I must have been because, my father liked hockey and he had me watching sports and hockey when I was a kid. Growing up in Buffalo, New York, it's definitely a common sport for kids to play. So I was like, yeah, hockey for me for sure. Thanks for the question, buddy. Looks like we got a couple more here. What do we got? Ryan Rogers, 1097. How did you move up the youth ranks? So basically, it started off when I was a little kid playing, and obviously I wanted to play at the highest level. I think ever since I was a little kid. When I first started, I was in the house league for 2 years. And then my third season was my first year of travel. I think it was like Mite Major, I think what they call it. And it was great. I was fortunate enough to have parents who wanted me to play hockey and were willing to sacrifice and take me on long trips. And I played travel hockey my third season and played pretty well. And then once I was there, I was really competitive and I wanted to continue to grow. And I just did that. I just always looked for the best team to play on, and I tried to play on those teams, but it always wasn't easy for me. When I was younger, I was really good, and I played at the high level, AAA in Buffalo. But then as I got a little older and I got into high school and stuff, I wasn't as some of the guys caught up to me and passed me, and I ended up getting cut from some teams, and it was really challenging. It was part of me wanted to quit hockey because it was just not going well for a couple of years. But I stuck with it, and I was able to find certain avenues and certain teams to play on that really inspired me, and I had good times and good coaching, luckily. And the dream just never died, so I just kept fighting to play on the best team that I could with the best coach, and when I was there, I wanted to win and play as good as I could, and just kept going for that, and ended up, once I left Buffalo, I ended up playing junior B hockey just to keep the career going, because that was the only opportunity that I had. I played my first year junior B. Then I got drafted into the North American Hockey League from there, and then once I had that little taste of success of being drafted into a league, I was like, oh man, this is great. Somebody wants me to come play for them. And then it was just like, all right. So once I started playing junior A, then obviously I wanted to play in college, and I got a scholarship to Merrimack College and played 4 years at Merrimack, and then it was like, okay, now that I'm here, I might as well try and play pro. So I kept trying, and once I was graduated from school at Merrimack, I signed and played in the American League, and then spent most of my time in the ECHL, but was able to play for a few AHL teams, and the career just keeps rolling. So basically what happened is, the advice I can give you is just keep striving, keep going for that top team that you can play for, and when you're on that team, your job is to try to win and help the team win as best as you can. Work hard, have a good attitude, and it's going to take you places. So hope that's good. All right, so the giveaway inside the video, to enter the giveaway, just comment below, ask me a question. Okay, so ask a question in the comment section, and I'll jump in and answer the best question, and it'll be a free grip. So that's the giveaway. So thanks for sticking with me in the video here. I might have one more question. No, it's just a comment. Somebody likes my headband. So all right, thanks a lot. So that's it. That's all the questions I got from Snap for today. It's a quick little Ask Me Anything video. Hope you guys liked it, and hit that subscribe button. Message me if you have any questions in the comments. Hit me up on Snapchat, and thanks a lot. Later. All right, guys, so here's the second part to the Ask Me Anything. The first part I finished in Buffalo, New York, and then right after I was done filming, I got a couple more questions from some guys, and I really wanted to answer them. The first question I got that I've been thinking about for a few days came from Johnny RBD, Rollerblade Dude. He wants to know, what's the hardest part about owning your own business? And this is a really good question, and I'm not going to sit here and complain about anything, because my life has been amazing ever since Buttendz got off the ground and we started doing our thing. But there's some challenges definitely that come with it day to day, and some of the hard things that I deal with, like honestly I've been sitting here doing take after take and trying to get everything right, and it just really got me thinking, like, the hardest part for me in owning Buttendz and owning my own company is the pressure that I put on myself every single day to perform and to be, every single piece of content and every single thing that I do is a reflection on me. And so I put a lot of pressure on myself for it to be good, and it takes me a while to get things done. And then with it comes, I guess, a lot of self-doubt, where I'm not really quite sure. I have nobody to ask. Like, there's no boss. There's nobody telling me, like, oh, you need to go do this today, or today you need to sit here and do that. Everything I do has to be pretty much self-motivated, and that's probably the hardest part for me, is knowing, not knowing, but I guess just believing that what I'm doing is the right thing. And I guess ever since the very beginning of Buttendz, we started the company in 2013. And I guess as we've grown now, so it's almost, this is 2017, so we're a few years in, and as the company grows and as things get bigger and as Buttendz becomes like a bigger company, with it comes more pressure. So now there's more, it seems like there's more people that are counting on the company to do well, and people are watching and people want to know what's going on. And in the beginning we were sort of I guess under the radar, and it felt sort of like I could do whatever I wanted and nobody knew what was going on. And now all of a sudden it's like I have to sort of realize that people are watching, and I have that kind of pressure too that I put on myself. So those are a couple things I've thought about. Obviously the pressure to succeed. We're where we are right now. It's October 2017. And I want to I want to keep this going for as long as possible, and I don't want to fail. And I still have the same fears and worries that I had on the first day we started the company, where deep down I wonder if I'm going to be a success. And as the leader of the company, right, like I have a responsibility to wake up every morning and work hard and do whatever that I can do that I think I'm doing the right things to help the company succeed in the long term. And just try to be the best person that I can be within the company. So I hope that's a good answer. I mean, as I'm sitting here talking about it, I'm like thinking to myself, like, this is probably not the best answer, but that's just how I guess I am. And that's kind of the the entire thing, where it's like I'm not sure exactly about anything that I do, but I just try to be honest and just try to be, work my hardest. And I think that has been basically what I've been doing since the beginning. So I'm going to keep doing that. But those are probably the hardest things about owning it. But again, I'm not going to complain because this has been amazing. So there's definitely no complaints about it. And I wouldn't have it any other way. I really love the work, and I love the struggle, and I love the not knowing, and I love the wondering what's going to happen next. So I hope that's a good answer. And yeah, let's check out the next question. So this one's really good too. let me just look it up here on my phone. Of course, I lost my place. Oh no, wait, I screenshotted it. All right, so this question came in from Snapchat right after I got done filming the Ask Me Anything in Buffalo. Cool.Keenan said to me, "Hey Rob, when you played hockey, did you get nervous? And if so, how did you overcome it? Because I get nervous and scared because I'm so small, and I'm looking for some advice." So this question really hit a nerve for me because honestly, like as a player, okay, so when I was a young kid, I was pretty good. And then as I got to about the Pee-wee age, when we started hitting, I didn't grow. So I went from being one of the bigger kids on the ice to all of a sudden I was one of the smaller kids on the ice right as we started to hit. And quite frankly, I was scared out of my mind as a player. And so I completely understand any players at any level that are scared, because hockey is a scary game. And, you know, you're out there competing with guys that are, you know, some people are, you know, some of the guys that you're competing against are pretty crazy, and like it can get pretty violent out there. And as a young kid, as a 12, 13, 14-year-old, I was really scared out of my mind. And again, I didn't grow early on in my career, so I was a little guy. And there were some big players out there, and I have a story specifically that I remember that I've never told anybody this, but I thought it was worthwhile to share it. I think I was Pee-wee, I want to say Pee-wee major, Pee-wee minor. We just started hitting. I was playing for the Buffalo Regals, and one of our rivals was the Rochester Americans. And they had a kid on the team named Dan Welch. I don't even know if he's still around or whatever, but I remember him vividly because he was huge. And I remember like looking back on it, like the kid had a beard at 13, and like I was this little pipsqueak kid who didn't grow. I didn't grow till I was like 17 years old, and then I sprouted. But we'll get to that. But anyways, I'm like 13, 14, whatever age. There's about 13 years old, and this kid Dan Welch was massive, and he used to pick on me. And I was so scared. I remember I used to hate hockey because of this. And it was really hard for me to even want to go play the games, especially against Rochester. But I was never, you know, I didn't know my game. I didn't know what kind of player I was at this point yet. And I was afraid. And this kid, Dan Welch, used to just basically, he knew I was afraid, and he would come after me. And I used to tell my father about it. My father saw it. He knew from the stands. He could tell that I didn't want to be a part of this. And his advice to me was, you know, this kid's a bully, and you need to treat bullies the way you would treat them off the ice as well. And you need to go after them, and you need to hit them, and before they hit you. And that was basically what he was telling me as his advice. And honestly, it's probably good advice, but as a 13-year-old kid who was not very big, to see this monster who was picking on me, I didn't want to even go near him, so let alone think about like attacking the guy. I'm like, whatever. But I remember we were on the road, and I'm like, all right, Rob, you have to do something. You can't live your life in fear. You can't let this guy push you around anymore. At the time I was using, I remember, a junior stick playing in Pee-wee, and so I had this little wooden twig, and the puck was down in our end. The puck came out of the zone. Welch was skating up the ice, and I skated up behind him and mustered up the courage that I was going to go and attack this guy because I was so sick of him beating on me. And I skated up behind him, and I two-hand chopped him as hard as I could in the ankle, thinking that this would send this guy a message. And basically what happened was my stick snapped in half right over his ankle, and basically he didn't even feel it. And I remember he turned around and laughed at me, and I'll never forget it, but it really like had a negative effect on things. 'Cause I was, after that, like, this had no positive effect on me at all. And he looked at me, laughed at me, skated away, and I knew he was coming harder even now after this. So I was like, oh my God, I'm petrified. And so I remember we played another game, and again, I've never told anybody this, but, and I'll get to how I eventually overcame this, but I took myself out of a game once because I was so scared. I pretended that I had the flu, and I took myself out of the game, and I'm pretty sure my father knew that I did this, but he never actually called me out for it. But it's something that I've had to like basically remember my entire life, that I basically chickened out against a player because I was so scared. So that was in Pee-wee. And whatever, honestly, looking back, like I ended up the next season, or maybe it was one more season, I don't really remember, but I ended up getting cut from that team. That was probably one of the best teams in Buffalo when I was a kid, was the AAA Regals team that I was on. And because I was scared and because I took myself out of the game, my coach cut me and I was off that team and I never got to play with those guys again. And in hindsight, I mean, at the time it was devastating. Those were all my teammates, my friends, and I was cut. And I was like, my hockey career is basically over. I got cut from the team. I'm not going anywhere. I was scared. I knew it in my own heart that I had chickened out. And my career went on. I kept playing, but it was tough. And all of a sudden I grew. And I got bigger, and all of a sudden my game changed, and I started looking at guys that I was looking up to at the time, like Brooks Orpik, who played the game with a lot of tenacity, and I wanted to emulate my game after him. And once I got bigger and I got stronger, I changed my style of play, and I became, instead of letting the bigger guys come to me and pick on me, I decided I was going to be aggressive and use my fear and turn my fear around and use it and go after people instead of them coming after me. And this is really what changed everything for me. And I started basically becoming a maniac out there. So I was a good player, but I was also, I was feared. And I all of a sudden realized that if you started running guys over and, taking liberties on guys and like really being aggressive, people didn't want to come near you anymore on the ice. So once I learned how to play this way, it kind of changed everything for me. And then all of a sudden I started to get noticed and people liked what I was doing. And for example, like I used to lead the league in penalty minutes, and people looked at it like it was a good thing. And so I was like, oh, okay, I can continue to do that. So that's kind of what changed everything for me, was becoming uber aggressive as opposed to waiting for guys to come and pick on me. So I took this style of play throughout my whole career, but quite frankly, I was always scared on the ice, a little bit. There were some games where, I knew there was certain opponents out there that weren't very tough. Like some teams weren't tough, and I'd go into the game and I didn't have much fear. But honestly, all the way up till the very end of my career, even when I was playing in pro hockey, I would go into games and I'd be really scared. Like I remember going up against certain guys and like knowing that like I was going to have to engage with them, and I was petrified. I got challenged to a fight by Paul Bissonnette in the minor leagues, and I didn't want to fight this guy. I saw him dummy my teammates before. I didn't want to fight him. I was afraid. I was afraid of guys like Bruce Watson, who I fought a couple times, and Chaz Johnson. These guys were maniacs. And I'm a grown man, and I was still scared, and I still felt like that same kid. But as I got older, I learned to face my fear, and even though I was afraid, I was still able to, play the game and play my style, and then basically take punishment. So basically, as a player, I was really tenacious, and if you look at my stats, my whole career, like in Hockey East when I played college hockey, I used to just run guys over and cross-check guys and just be so violent, and I led the league in penalty minutes. But my coaches loved it and my teammates loved it because they knew that I was a crazy guy out there and nobody wanted to come near me, and I would protect my teammates. And again, I was still scared, but I was using that fear to drive me forward and be a better player for it. But this style of play eventually caught up to me, and there's an old saying, you live by the gun, you die by the gun. And I used to just, go out to the games, and I would be like, if I had the chance to line somebody up and run them over in open ice, I would. Even if it was a late hit, I would still hit guys late. I would cross-check guys in front of the net. I was really trying to inflict pain. And when I got to pro hockey, you can't really do that without having to answer for your actions. And, I had to fight some monsters like Jimmy Bonneau from Cincinnati. He dummied me twice. He basically slammed me to the ice so hard that I tore my shoulder. Bruce Watson punched my face out and I had a blowout fracture in my orbital socket because I ran over their captain one game, and then Bruce Watson hated me for the rest of the year. Pretty much that's how it went for me, my pro career, where, I didn't want to be fighting guys. Like I was still like sort of scared as a player my whole life. And then all of a sudden, my second year of pro hockey, I show up for the season and I'm on a billboard and I got my gloves off and I'm like a fighter all of a sudden, and I'm like, what is going on here? And little did everybody know that like deep down I was actually still just kind of scared. So that led to, I played 4 years pro, and basically what happened was I would run guys over. I was killing guys, playing my game, taking lots of penalties, putting up 0.5 points a game, so still having some pretty good skill. And then my final game of my pro career, I was in front of the net, and I went behind the net to chase the puck, and this guy named Schnell from Wheeling chased me back there and cross-checked me from behind, and I went headfirst into the boards, and I was unconscious for maybe 20 minutes. And when I woke up, my career was over. And that's it. I mean, you live by the gun, you die by the gun. But just to anybody out there who's watching, any kids who may be scared, just know that you're not alone. Like I was a tough, like I was known as a fighter at one point in my life, and I was scared. So being scared is okay, but face your fears and learn how to channel the fear and turn it into a positive for your game. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So if you guys need if you have any questions about this, or if you want to talk even further, just definitely hit me up in the questions, or send me a Snap DM or an Insta DM, and let me know what you're thinking. Let me know if you have any fears out there, and I can maybe try to help you out a little bit. But that's my story, and I hope it has some positive effects, and hope you guys enjoyed it.